Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I welcome Mr. Mayank Manoj Sharma, and he will talk about Shrimp Farming Vision 2047, Viksit Bharat. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. So, very good afternoon to all the spectators. Uh, First of all, before starting this talk, I would like to say that, I'm part of aquaculture industry and I'm very proud the way industry has shaped itself to be one of the second largest aquaculture produce federation or whatever you name it as a country. So I'm very proud about that I'm part of such industry where it's not only providing business money, but more importantly it's all about employment opportunities, creating coastal livelihood, and penetrating the business with food and profit all across the rural regions. So this was my drive and my motivation to join the aquaculture industry. And this is why today I would like to talk about Vision 2047, Viksit Bharat, which is also the vision of our government under the very great and commendable leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister. So here what I will start with my discussion and the topic. So let's begin. So target 2047. Roughly currently, if you see, our industry is somewhere valued close to 8 billion US dollars, but the vision of 2047, it's almost the 10 times the projection and the growth at which we are currently operating. So yes, it's a very big target, and 100% it is possible. But there are certain things which we need to understand before achieving these targets, and this is what I would like to highlight today. So in terms of overview of the resources which we have one of the very largest coastlines with, if you see in terms of inland resources, see, we do have marine resources and capture fisheries existing, but aquaculture is a sector which is very highly possible in India and n- across many coastal regions. And in fact, to your surprise, not only coastal regions, but like for example, my industry. Now we are seeing aquaculture, more particularly shrimp farming in inland saline aquaculture, whether it is Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and now I have even seen in North India, you also see the Himalayan trout culture. So, this is how aquaculture is gaining its footprint across India. And more importantly, if you see, one of the very potential source of water, that is brackish water aquaculture, by these resources which is source is fisheries government of India, you can see that almost 14 lakh hectares of brackish water area is available. So it's not only about certain class of fishes or shrimp, but there are many different species yet which are to be explored to carry out aquaculture. Just to give you a short brief about why a journey in aquaculture is very interesting and filled with purpose, because I was always motivated by my father's work. So this is the picture of my father, Dr. Manoj Sharma, whose journey is does not only show hard work, but it also shows a sheer passion an individual can have for aquaculture industry. So to many young professionals or my fellow colleagues listening to this talk, this is very important that whatever work we do or any segment of aquaculture industry, whosoever or maybe someone here who is in aquaculture industry we are operating, the first thing is that we have a passion for aquaculture, but more importantly, we also have a purpose to fill in, and that is producing food for the growing economy and also a vision and a motto to become the blue food bowl of the world. The aquaculture supply chain is pretty straightforward. So farmers are the most important and the most crucial backbone of our country. So like agriculture, even farmers are equally the backbone of the aquaculture industry. And to these farmers, there are networks of dealers, who are associated and closely knitted among the group of farmer, where farmers are provided with the shrimp or fish seed. The second most important is the feed. Feed is the most major and component of the aquaculture operations. Then followed by certain healthcare products. You need workforce. But yes, in terms of input, 60 to 7 more than 60-65% of the inputs are easily provided by the dealers to the farmer, which is in the form of feed, seed, and healthcare. Then once the produce is ready, it either goes to export oriented market via processing and packaging to the export market, and then followed by the distributor or the importer in their region. Or let's say there is a certain container of 1 container load of shrimp is exported from India to US. So whatever importer or distributor or representative who is there in United States, he will then later on channelize it to the retail stores. In the same way, if you see the domestic channel, there are dealers associated with the farmers in the same manner as I have explained earlier for seed, feed, medicine, and certain healthcare inputs. And then for domestic market, we have either wholesale market via vendor, and then it reaches to our consumer. So, what is actually the potential of aquaculture? Why we are aiming at Viksit Bharat 2047? Because more importantly, I will give you a very fine example of Gujarat. So, whatever work my father had carried out in Gujarat was primarily done on salt affected wastelands. So, as you know, and you many of you might be aware, salt affected wastelands, we cannot carry out any agriculture activity or cash crops in that. But these lands were repurposed and they were utilized to make ponds and grow shrimps in it. So you are seeing this image of an area called Dumas in 2009, but now, just immediately after a decade, you can see an enormous amount of development in shrimp farming. So, yes, there are many reasons to that. Number one, I would say that the entrepreneurial mindset of the people in the region, especially Gujarat. Secondly, very easy and dissemination of the science behind shrimp farming, which I think my father made it very simple to understand, very simple to implement, and more importantly, many very simple to multiply. So from 4 ponds where the journey of shrimp farming development in Gujarat began, and now there are almost 10,000 shrimp ponds in Gujarat, contributing roughly somewhere around 350 million US dollars to the economy and exports. So, highlights of shrimp farming development. As I mentioned, the wasteland, the salt affected wastelands converted to best productive land, the employment, an individual rural person or a coastal rural community member is becoming self employed and he is in himself an entrepreneur or an aquapreneur taking care of his or of his livelihood and also his families wherever shrimp farming development has been done. So, more importantly, I can give you an example of our region. So, wherever shrimp farming has been developed, it has resulted into the supply of electricity. Also, many retail stores or wholesale units were made, many restaurants. So, like this, an entire economy was developed wherever shrimp farming was made. So, this in turn also benefited the villagers in the nearby vicinity. Yes, it provides immense workforce. It supports food and safety through aquaculture, and more importantly, in context of our country, it's a foreign revenue earner through exports. So these are the some examples which I'm saying you. See, a tractor person has got an employment. For motor winding and rewinding, a person has got a employment in the nearby vicinity. Just to ensure that the inputs go from warehouse to the farmers, a small bolero truck or tempo guy has got an employment. The ice factories have got employment because if you see shrimp in particular or even fish, they need a cold temperature to maintain their freshness and integrity. You can see the stores selling we how we call in India the kirana stores. So you see the kirana stores are have developed across the shrimp farming regions, supplying food, groceries and other stuff. The workforce to make ponds, construct ponds, and to harvest the ponds, supply of fresh water for potable use for the workforce at the shrimp farms. So as I mentioned and showed a picture about journey from Jhinga to Jhingalala, so in the same way, why from Rodpati to Crorepati? So if you study very carefully, this consider this as a case study. So if you study my father, Dr. Manoj Sharma, more importantly, the image itself speaks a lot. So see on the left side, it's the same guy who started his initial journey as a part-time structural technician, trying to live and also try more importantly trying to have a sustainable source of livelihood for himself. But wherever he found the purpose, that purpose led to a immense development of shrimp farming in Gujarat. And also, more importantly, the industry grew, the people grew, and also equally, it gave a fair chance to my father and many individual farmers in our region to have a sustainable source of income and also become very enterprising and aquapreneur. So today, whatever you see on the right hand side, this is my father who is not only a farmer but an entrepreneur. And in total, whatever growth or progress he has done, it has been community driven. And for this, he has achieved many awards and accolades. World Aquaculture Society, one of the most prestigious organization in aquaculture industry or the world aquaculture industry, has awarded him a global industry impact award, which is impacting lives of 150,000 individuals. So again, aquaculture is not only about profit, it's more importantly, just imagine, I mean, many young spectators here or any professionals, whatever impact you're creating in aquaculture, it's not only limited to yourself. You are creating an entire chain of livelihood, possibilities, and vision. See how the initial struggling days were there of my father. So in these pictures, you can see my father, teaching, doing some setup of the ponds, his training periods, and everything. Aquaculture industry requirements. So, as I mentioned earlier, feed, seed, medicine, infrastructure development to make ponds, have electricity supply, and many other cottages, harvesting center. So, all those infrastructure development, energy in the form of electricity or fuel. You need technical expertise to carry out aquaculture farming, whether it is shrimp or fish. You need a processing if you are not, if you want to pack or you want to pack it as per the export market. For example, shrimp. So there are many different specifications of the shrimp. So for the processing market, there needs to be a facility where the shrimps are packed as per the requirement of the buyers. And of course, market or marketing is also a very crucial aspect. So after the production and technically handling the material, from farming to processing, the important aspect which runs parallel throughout this entire value chain is marketing. All these requirements, in turn, create an opportunity for an aspiring entrepreneur. So, any one of my fellow friends who are listening to me and who are interested to be part of aquaculture, it's not necessary. I'm it's not necessary that you just need to be a farmer to contribute for the betterment of aquaculture industry. You can pick any of this part across the value chain in which you guys can contribute for the betterment of the industry. So, to the youth listening to this talk, brackish water aquaculture, freshwater aquaculture is definitely there. We also have marine cage cultures as well. But there is not only shrimp or fish, but now there is also ornamental fisheries. We have marine fisheries, as I mentioned earlier. There is seaweed culture. Also, biotechnological interventions are becoming many increasingly important in terms to solve the disease issues and provide custom tailored healthcare solutions. There are high tech interventions such as indoor farming concept, which is becoming slowly popular given the disease incidence and also producing more by using less unit area and less water resources. Technical experts in feed, seed, and medicine, as I mentioned earlier, if you are a technical expert, this is how you can contribute in producing the blue food. Domestic market intervention, because I think most of us in this past 4 to 5 months, we have realized that the export dependency of India, which we have, it's not very good for our nation. And with a nation with 1.5 billion population and almost 70 to 75% of our population is consuming certain form of meat, whether it is egg, chicken, mostly egg, chicken, fish. So why not shrimps? So you might have noticed while watching the news that there is almost 60% tariff on the shrimps entering the United States, and almost 40% to 45% dependency we are having on US market. So domestic market intervention is equally important. So I really pledge and request to the youth listening here that we should very strongly work for domestic market, which will make our industry, aquaculture industry, self-reliant. And any one of you who is not even interested across anything, whether it is farm, processing, farming, but also in marketing aspect, you yourself can be a distributor, buy shrimps and sell it and make it available to the domestic market. Of course, on the technical aspects, you guys can become a research scientist and also a nutritionist, contributing to the technical efficiency of shrimp farming. So the schemes and the yojana which can help us catalyze this development. So the one of the most flagship scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, the first independent scheme and the independent department of fisheries, which was made under the honorable vision of our Prime Minister for the betterment of the Indian aquaculture industry. So if you see the schemes, whether it is Kisan Credit Card, or whether it is Fisheries Infrastructure Development Fund, where you can be eligible for any activity, whether it is innovation in farming, processing, indoor farming, biofloc, RAS, ornamental fisheries, seaweed. So any other innovative projects includes. The motive of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is very straightforward: doubling the production and doubling the farmers' income. And for that, they have also had launched the sub schemes or extended schemes like Pradhan Mantri Matsya Samriddhi Saha Yojana. And regarding the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana and Fisheries Infrastructure Development Fund, I have already covered that. So schemes and yojanas, this is just a press release. So imagine the PMMSY scheme with total investments of around 38,000 crores have been made in our country. So I think government is very affirm. Government is providing us all the necessary budget, outlay, subsidies to make this happen. We have the necessary land resources. We have one of the most technical capabilities to execute this and make it happen. So, what we can do that can change the game, or we can change the face of the Indian aquaculture industry. So, to make this happen, I personally feel that we should work on unified national policy for land leasing and open water resources for aquaculture. So it should not be, region or state specific, but it should have a unified national policy which will allow easy execution of implementing certain laws and regulation, but more importantly, giving out lands to an individual entrepreneur to carry out shrimp farming, or an individual coastal rural guy, or an individual youth who wants to carry out shrimp farming. There should be a unified power tariff level, because just a small example. So there are certain space states in India, like for example, in shrimp farming, we are in Gujarat versus in Andhra Pradesh. So India itself, sometimes they have a competition among each other in terms of energy utilization in electricity. So there are certain subsidized electricity tariffs in Andhra Pradesh, while in Gujarat, it's still in a part of industrial unit. So as energy is one of the very crucial factors, because you need ponds, in ponds you need aerators function. So which in turn utilizes the energy. So it is very important that if possible, there should be a unified power level at national level. So which will make the Indian produce, whether it is more importantly, let's say in context of shrimp, it will make the shrimps price competitive. There will be a healthy competition into the system, and be- because of unified lease policy and unified tariff policy. More importantly, Indian product, whether it is shrimp, fish, or any other future diversification of species, it will be under one umbrella and one cost. So other nations outside India will see as one. We will not have internal competitions or lack of cost efficiency, and every farmer of this country will have a fair chance to technically work and associate with the packers and processors. Secondly, agriculture status and insurance. Yes, it is one of the very crucial topics and debate among many industry professionals in India. But yes, giving agriculture status will definitely provide lots and lots of benefit to the aquaculture industry. The Kisan credit card scheme is very good, it's very excellent. But for capital intensive or high operational expenditure business, like shrimp farming, like mine, if they have an extension of 15 lakhs, that would really help the farmers. Domestic marketing, I've already covered. It is very important that we should become self reliant. See, we produce almost roughly close to 900,000 tons of shrimp. But imagine out of these 9 lakh tons of shrimp, if even 25 to 30% of domestic market is developed, it can benefit the farmers, it can motivate the farmers, because domestic market is not only about marketing shrimps in the domestic market and making them available, but more importantly, it ensures that farmers livelihood is secured in the time. Let's say even in future there are any issues with tariff or any other country, or maybe you never know, again US, or this issue persists. So a farmer's livelihood is at stake, and not only farmers but entire industry value chains sustainability is at stake. So if domestic market is present, it can provide farmers an opportunity to grow shrimps. So farmer grows, the industry grows, and everyone across the value chain grows. Secondly, if they, during time of disease or any crash harvest or any issue, still farmers will be able to market or sell those produce to get a minimum salvageable value of their produce. Land allotment up to 5 hectares to fisheries graduate. Yes, if there is a unified land use policy, it would be very nice that fisheries graduates, or if there are some graduates, fisheries graduates listening to this talk, getting a 5 hectare would be very nice for you to practice and culture not only shrimps but any other kind of fish which you guys feel. And it is not only about earthen pond based culture, it could also be an indoor system or indoor biofloc system or intensive biofloc systems. Also, I think encouragement should be given to public private partnership for genetic improvement and production technology. So, I think we should have more and more species development programs, which I think I will discuss ahead. But more importantly, not only species improvement or genetic improvement program, but also we should work on various production technologies, which should be Indian made technologies or Indian made protocols for growing fish or shrimp. Another most important and valuable aspect is disease mitigation and surveillance. See, in context of shrimp farming, if I give you an example, our success rate is around 65 to 70%. So, to increase the success rate, why this success rate is going down, and this has major role has to play because of the disease incidences. So if we have a strong disease mitigation strategy, but before that, with a strong disease surveillance program, all these things are possible. We should promote the indigenous breeding program as mentioned earlier, whether it is a genetic improvement program or an indigenous breeding program. It is very, very important for our country, because still in terms of certain level of genetics or importing certain genetics, we still import genetics out from India. So it's also important that our country should become self-reliant also in having its own genetics. Species diversification, there are certain kind of fishes and shrimp already grow reared, marketed, but there are still many potential. Like one of the finest examples I could give, there is still an immense potential. As you could see that brackish water, aquaculture, the land availability is there. So we can also focus on sea bass. In future, if we have a stronger genetic, stronger, robust genetic program, we should also work on sea bass, silver pompano, groupers. So there are many different species on which we can work on. Diversified product portfolio and diversified markets. So we should not have our dependency on selective nation or a country. We should have a diversified product portfolio and a diversified market. Not only certain product forms, but we should focus highly on value addition. Like for example, in shrimps, if our dependency is on United States of minimum 40 to 45%, so we should reduce certain level of dependency, because it's important that there are also other nations to which we can cater. We should strongly focus on building more relation with, let's say, another countries, or maybe countries in the EU, or it could be another countries where even at least we can start by selling 8 or 10 containers. No problem, but at least we should focus on having a diversified market. Even Australia is possible. Focus on brand promotion and traceability and certification. See, brand promotion, certification, and traceability. These three are a very vital term. It's not only about aquaculture. Even agriculture produce, FMCG, all the products now they demand certain standard and brand value. So the brand projection of Indian produced aquaculture products, or Indian produced fish, or as a product, Indian produced shrimp, we should strongly market this as a premium quality product available in the market. Yes, automation has become a very trending topic, more particularly after understanding the importance of automation in easing out the job. But we should also be aware that India is a very big country with different regional needs. And so this is very important to understand that as per region specific strategy should be adopted for automation. And this is where I feel that my statement, automation adaptation as per regional needs, is very important, because certain level of automation technology might be working very well in certain regions, or maybe let's say outside India, but that same technology cannot be viable for certain regions in India, whether it is capital investment or whether it is handling of the investment, not sorry, handling of the equipments. So we should be very particular about how we are introducing this technology, whether it is this technology or the automation technology is easily replicable, understandable, and more importantly, which I always remember this thing, that even if you have automated, for example, automated feeders, so but is there a way we can ease out the servicing part, the post servicing part? Because servicing is very important aspect, because if certain technology engines or forget technology and engines, but for example, if there is an auto feeder and we have installed it into our ponds, but due to some reason or technical glitch, it's not working properly, and we have to contact to service stock, but in the meantime again we have to start manual feeding. So more importantly, the shrimps who are trained with that automatic feeding, and the efficiency of automatic feeding versus the manual feeding changes. So all these things can create certain operational variables into the system. So my take as a farmer and a well-wisher of the industry is that automation is very good. It should be with regional needs, and more importantly, it should have a post-service center. So anyone listening to me here, it's not only about the technology, but if you are also interested in providing services, so you can have a service-based focus for the farmers who are having automated instruments. Promotion of domestic consumption is already covered, so I would not like to discuss much about it. Yes, only thing I can say is that with a country of 1.5 billion population, and if the non-vegetarian eating population of the country, even if they decide during key Indian festivals that they can buy 1 kg of shrimp, so it would really help the industry. It would really help to sustain the industry for a longer run. So to conclude, the power of aquaculture has immense opportunity for the nation and its people, and if handed over to the youth, will bring the wave of development. Yes, it should be handed over to the youth, but more importantly, the senior professionals or the people who have given their decades for this welfare and betterment of the farmers. So we should consider that. We should also be thankful to government who is supporting us to carry out aquaculture activity, and more importantly, Vision 2047. Why it is possible? Because we have all the necessary tools to make this happen. We have a proactive government. We have technology and one of the most technological conscious farmers who are experienced. We have a big community of aquaculture producers. So, and also more importantly, we have lots and lots of land to commercially utilize it for aquaculture. So all the things fall into a very perfect basket, and that basket is going to be a success, and which in turn is going to make India stand out tall in 2047 and be the top country across the globe catering fisheries and aquaculture products as a blue football of the world. So thank you so much for listening me, and I am all ears. If there is any question anytime, I am more than happy to assist you in my best capacity. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen, sir? Yeah, I'll take up the questions, sir. Sir, what role will automation, IoT, and AI play in transforming ship farming practices by 2047?
Well, ma'am, Vision 2047, the time is many years to go. But I think more importantly, IoT and automation already is playing a very crucial role. So, as I gave a very fine example, so there are some sensors, pH sensors, we have temperature sensors. So, they are already integrated with the auto feeders to give you an understanding of the water chemistry of your pond. So it's already working, ma'am. This all these technologies are part of our aquaculture system, and how they are benefiting. See, there are laborers, there are farmers, but as a farmer, if I am someone who is a commercial farmer, a commercial operator, or even a small scale farmer who really wants to bring efficiency and ease of doing business, an automatic feeder is very important, because feed as a component of cost of production also is almost like, say, for example, of shrimp farming. 50 to 55% component of cost of production is shrimp feed. So if we integrate automation and if we can bring certain level of efficiency in broadcasting of feed, making feed available at most of the times to the shrimp throughout the entire day. And if that can bring more growth and reduce FCR, so that FCR means feed conversion ratio. So if we bring down the FCRs, which in turn will give profit to the farmer because he is saving money on the feed, and more importantly, the nutrient input will be going less to the water. So it is environmentally more sustainable. Secondly, the sensors would help to understand the chemistry of the water. If there are a lot of pH fluctuations, if it is there is a drop, or there, I mean there is an increase in temperature. So increase in temperature. So all these things will alarm the farmer and make farmer very careful, that he should be careful that water temperatures are rising. If water temperature is very high, maybe there might be a lower feed consumption. Maybe they can change their feeding charts. If pH is fluctuating a lot, they can have a look on the carbonate and bicarbonate buffering system, because if pH is fluctuating too much, that means the buffering system of water is not working very properly. Besides that, I think if I am not wrong, yeah, so these two things are very crucial. Besides that, there are of course manual interventions of water quality testing kits, which are already helping farmers. So I think already automation has started blending with farmers very perfectly nicely.
Okay. How do you see the integration of biotechnologies such as disease resistant shrimp strains shaping the future of the industry?
So, ma'am, I mean, I think yes, I forgot to mention, but I myself, I have done aquaculture biotechnology. So, I am a very strong believer that biotechnology has a very immense role to play for the production of aquaculture food. How? So, number one, ma'am, in terms of disease mitigation, there can be a certain development of custom-made formulations, whether it is herbal extracts or whether it is probiotic based or whether it is some active ingredients in a microencapsulated form, which can combat disease, increase shrimp immunity to combat the stressors present into the pond, whether it is high temperature, salinity, organic load, bacterial load, and others. Secondly, biotechnology intervention or the knowledge of genetics will also help a geneticist to make one of the very highly efficient shrimp broodstock or a fish broodstock, which is able to outperform the existing genetics. And for that, there are already many technologies present. Uh, Third is the diagnostic tools. We see different biotechnological principles. So now, not now only it's not only about PCRs, but there are different methods now. There is LAMP, of course, RT-PCR is always there. So with RT-PCR, we are able to find out the viral load. We are able to get CT value. So whether it is a very harmful disease like WSSV, we are able to get that with chromatography or lateral flow kits. More importantly, we are able to detect the antigens, viral antigens. So this all things are very, very important. So biotechnology has a very key role to play, whether it is improving the genetics, taking care of shrimp health, surveilling the disease. So all these three things biotechnology can play immense role. And third, in terms of nutrition, I think also biotechnology or I think definitely biotechnology can help to substitute certain ingredients in shrimp or fish feed to make the feed more low cost, but not at the cost of reducing the efficiency or the impact of the shrimp feed which is has on the shrimp in terms of growth, or equally goes for the fish. So with some bioactive ingredients, compounds which can be incorporated into the shrimp or fish feed, it will be very equally important in the future. So, biotechnologist, he can also be a researcher. If he does research, he can have an understanding, and maybe he can make a product specific protocol for farmer success, or he can have a SOP that can help farmers to mitigate many various problems, whether it is related to operational efficiency, whether it is related to disease incidents, or whether it is related to surveillance.
Okay. How can small-scale farmers adopt eco-friendly practices without increasing production costs?
Hmm, it's a very interesting question, and I think it's not only about me, but the entire world is thinking about this. But yes, everyone has their own views, but I will go with the view which I have learned from my father, because he's in the industry since 31 years. I feel more importantly, to promote eco-friendly practice, we should primarily focus on understanding the positive carrying capacity of the system. By definition, is that carrying capacity, like any other definition, is to promote shrimp farming, to promote the growth, but to not over exploit the resources of the pond. Understand that not overstocking the shrimps. If you are overstocking, you are overutilizing the shrimps. Maybe one crop is good, but over the course of time you will have high organic load into the system. So have a low stocking density module, or at least follow drying of the ponds, removing the organic load from your ponds, use good probiotics to carry out, ensure bioremediation, because bioremediation itself will be a very strong tool to have a minimal in nutrient load and pathogenic load or organic load into your ponds. So all these small things are very important. Yes, you have your crop, you have your profitability, but think in this context also. Stocking less, growing bigger size shrimps or would be very beneficial. But on the other hand, yes, you can also stock more, but dedicate your area for treatment, effluent treatment systems, and like this, you can make your eco-friendly practice. And there are many fine examples currently present in the world of shrimp farming and also in fish. So anything and everything is possible.
Okay. What are the main challenges Indian shrimp exporters face today and how can they be overcome?
Hmm. I think I've already answered to this, but again, yes, in terms of export, I think our export dependency on certain markets should not be there. Yes, there is a certain population that demands seafood. I understand all that. But again, I think we are ignoring the biggest market we have, and that is domestic market. So it's not only about exporters, but it's also about the long-term sustainability of the industry. And I think that exporters should find alternative markets, which already I think exporters have started doing that. So kudos to exporters. And I mean, I'm really proud to be part of some industry where exporters are dedicatedly finding alternate markets after the US tariff for the success and sustainability of the farmers. So it's very commendable that exporters, Government of India, Marine Product Export Development Authority have already begun with the interventions of finding alternate market. But yet, at the same time, I would also request that if possible, as a youth of this country and a well-wisher of the aquaculture industry, if there is a possibility that also there can be a joint efforts for domestic market, it would be very nice, because if farmer earns, he will be motivated to produce more. So at the end of the day, everyone is winning in this. The Vision 2047 is winning. The vision of our honorable Prime Minister or the government of India's vision is going to get fulfilled. So it's very important that exporters are working dedicatedly very hard. But if there is a possibility that we are finding alternate markets, so why domestic market cannot be our own alternate market also? Part of it. I'm not saying domestic market is everything, but if we are finding alternate markets like in different EU nations, now maybe building strong relation more closely to China, or maybe start exporting shrimps to Australia. So in the same way, we can also have a beginning of domestic market as well.
Okay. What kind of training or upskilling programs do you think are needed to prepare the next generation of shrimp farmers?
I think, ma'am, I am part of the industry since 5 years. This is my fifth year. So whatever I have learned is from practical ground reality. Yes, I am blessed for that I am a second generation entrepreneur and a son of a farmer. But in terms of training and skill upgradation, I think there should be a strong collaboration between industry and institutes. Not only the student exchange programs or providing internships. Yes, these are there and these are very useful and helpful, but there should be a special skill development courses for the students where experts can come. And it's not only about experts coming to the coming for the talks. Sometimes it could just be an online session to give a general overview about the industry, make the students informed and make the students educate about what benefits aquaculture industry has and has to offer, like how today I just covered everything in a glimpse of time. Secondly, yes, I think there should be a one crop training, whether it is shrimp or fish or any other aquaculture practice, including seaweed. So students should go, stay, learn in these facilities. And I very strongly pledge government that if there is a possibility that if any private industry player or universities, if they are ready to dedicate this and make it happen for students, it should be very highly possible that if government can provide certain level of support or subsidy for making some good high quality and standard rooms or container houses where students can live with whole safety with and more importantly, if they can live in the close vicinity of the farm, they can be part of the farming environment and they can learn many and many things which they would not be able to learn just by one day visit. So yes, exposure visits should be there, but an entire academic course or a training course should be there, and this can be a collaboration between private, government and institutes. So it can be one of maybe someone should start it. There are some private entities already giving all this. They have a CSR funding. Like for example, if I'm not wrong, yes, Avanti Feeds have one of the very biggest CSR work they are doing in terms of skill development center. So like this, I think if there are other private players who are interested to do that, they should go forward with it. But more importantly, skill development centers should most importantly have an entire crop training, because aquaculture is not only about just going to the farm, seeing the farm, learning that okay, this is a pond, this is a shrimp, but aquaculture more importantly is a business of awareness, is a business of common sense. It's a business of making yourself available 24/7 once you have stocked your seeds into the pond till you harvest it.
Okay. What message would you like to convey to young entrepreneurs who wish to enter the shrimp aquaculture sector?
I think my simple message will be that yes, I am a second generation entrepreneur, son of a farmer who is part of this industry, and I'm really enjoying to be part of this industry. That is not only giving me, you know, as I always say, that aquaculture is not only about profits; it's about purpose. Imagine a hectare in term context of shrimp farming, a 1 hectare of salt affected wasteland can give employment opportunities to 10 individuals across the value chain. So if 1 hectare of pond is created, it is giving employment to a labor, workforce. Um, if you also look into processing, so one person is employed for processing, transport, one technical person, one feed person, one seed person, one healthcare professional. So like that, a hectare of salt affected wasteland is providing employment opportunities to almost 8 to 10 individuals. So think of it as a very livelihood boosting sector. And yes, who says you cannot grow and become a very polished entrepreneur in aquaculture? Look at the world, study the world, study aquaculture across different globes. There have been multinational companies or conglomerates who have been doing wonderful in aquaculture industry, not only from farmers side, but whether it is feed manufacturing companies. Like for India, you can follow the example of Avanti Feeds, one of the biggest shrimp feed company in India. Also, in terms of farming, you can take a very fine example of my father and myself, who are taking care of a shrimp farming company producing 1,000 tons. So, anything is possible in aquaculture, but yes, only thing is that aquaculture is, again, as I said, it's about purpose, but to fulfill that purpose, more important is that you should have a patience. So, at the end of the day, my simple and straightforward message would be, please join aquaculture. It's a fun business, it's a fun activity. You will be part of the nature, you will be producing food for the growing population. And what else do you need?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We have now completed the round of questions on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. We like to thank Mr. Mayank Manoj Sharma for the talk and for answering the questions. This meeting will now be closed. Thank you, sir.